turning students of today into leaders of tomorrow. For my money, the most important thing we can do is teach them to be independent. There's such a focus now on teamwork and on this idea that Gen Y young people and students even coming after them are in an environment where they have so much support, and that is wonderful. And it stays wonderful for quite some time. When it becomes problematic is when you go into a work environment and you have to start making decisions alone. You have to be brave enough to make hard decisions. You have to be brave enough to make unpopular decisions. And really that's what leadership is. So one of the things that I really counsel executives and teachers and parents to focus on is pushing their kids to make mistakes, pushing their kids to make hard decisions, and to really go out on a limb, do things that are different from what their friends might be doing, because it's really difficult for them to make that transition. They're used to the team environment, they're used to the support of their parents, and they're very used to being able to do things that are praiseworthy, to being popular all the time. And the reality is you can't be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company with that attitude. You won't want to be. So if we want to craft leaders, we have to craft brave people, people who feel like they have enough skills and resources to actually make good decisions, whether or not they'll be popular. And that's really what success as a person is about, not just success in the workplace. And I think that's where Gen Y is actually going to have the greatest challenge. When we think of turning Gen Y into the leaders of tomorrow, we have to think about work ethic. And it's easy to say that Gen Y doesn't have work ethic, but I think what is actually happening when you see Yers not motivated to do that day-to-day grind is that they're looking for fulfillment, they're looking for reward, and they don't always recognize how the day-to-day tough work is actually a big part of being rewarded and feeling fulfilled in the end. And that's something we need to help them see. We need to help them understand. It is too easy now for parents to sign their kids up for every activity and send them off to amazing internships and to wonderful summer camps. And they don't recognize sometimes that when their kids come back from that, they're not actually learning anything. They're expecting the privilege of those experiences without actually taking away that deep critical thought that they need in order to be successful in the long term. And one of the most important aspects of leadership is deep thought. You need to be able to look at a problem and really analyze it from every angle and be able to see the way that any decision that you make will affect not just the problem at hand, but the people that work for you in your industry as a whole. And the only way to learn those skills is to be pushed to think in that way. So when we look at crafting young leaders, I think we have to force them to think. They're not forced to do that. They're forced to think about a lot at a superficial level, the things that you can Google or Yelp, but they're not necessarily forced to drill down and really interrogate problems and really think about a sentence or a thought in these deep and important ways, the way that you had to just 20 years ago in school. And that is a huge loss. And until we can force them to really take that time and encourage them to probe and to interrogate, we are not actually going to be crafting leaders, because a leader has to be able to do that, otherwise he or she won't be successful.